Hey Falcon fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome into Atlanta Falcons Today. We're going to jump into the exact scenarios, games, wins, and losses the Falcons need to have in order to have a very slight chance of making the actual postseason. They're sitting at 5-7, not technically eliminated yet. We'll give you guys all that info coming up in today's video. First, we appreciate all of you guys helping us get to 4,000 subs here on Atlanta Falcons Today. If you enjoy the Falcons, you enjoy the channel, help us get to 5,000 as we approach, hopefully that's soon, coming up here in the next couple of days and weeks. All right, let's jump into today's video. As I mentioned, the road to the playoffs. Now, we know that Atlanta has a tough road. We're going to talk about all the different scenarios, all the different games, look at the schedule, look at the teams that need to win and lose for Atlanta to go ahead and make it into the postseason. Now, as you'll see, I'm not feeling very confident. You're probably not feeling very confident either, but technically, they are sitting at 5-7, and so the ability to make the postseason is still very much alive. Let's start with the NFC South standings, just get this all cleared up right now. It is a one team at the top, obviously the Bucs sitting there at 9-3. They're looking very good this year. Offensively, they are probably the best football team in terms of the offense in the National Football League. Defensively, still a little iffy there. Played well against the Falcons on Sunday. And then you have three teams all sitting there at 5-7. Atlanta scrunched right in the middle, having beaten the Saints and having lost to the Panthers. Of course, the Panther matchup coming up on Sunday is going to be very important for the Falcons. They basically have to win it in order to have a chance to go ahead and make the postseason. So obviously no chance to win the NFC South. We all know that. But that leads us into the NFC Playoff Picture, which you see on your screen right now. And there's a lot to break down here. First off, Cardinals, Packers, Bucs, Cowboys, they're probably all going to go ahead and win their division. There is a chance for the Rams to squeak up there and unseed the Cardinals. They will play each other one more time coming up here either next week or the week after, either way. But those four teams are basically all secure. It's just a matter of seeding now for those top four teams. Looks like Arizona's going to win the division, although Packers and Cardinals, I think, are still both very much alive for that one seed. Other than that, the Rams are going to be the 5 seed. I mean, that is almost written in blood right now. It feels like it's going to be a for sure thing that the Rams are going to go ahead and be the 5 seed right now. Technically, could they lose a couple of games over the next couple of weeks? Yes, but they seem locked in. After that, it's an absolute cluster. As it currently stands, the Washington football team at 6-6 would be the 6th seed. The 49ers would go ahead and be the 7th seed. And then you have all these teams that are on the brink, right? Philadelphia at 6-7, the Vikings at 5-7, the Panthers at 5-7, and then, of course, the Atlanta Falcons sitting there at 5-7 as well, at the very bottom of technically the proverbial playoff chart. Although, again, a win here, a loss there from certain teams can bump the Falcons right on up to the 7th seed if everything goes correctly. Let me just say this before we go ahead and get into the schedule as it finishes up for the Falcons. Atlanta will need some help. Like, Atlanta's going to have to win a lot of games. They're going to help themselves. But as you see here, they're going to need Washington to lose. They're going to need the 49ers to lose. They're going to need the Eagles to lose. Like, there are a lot of teams that have to lose in order for the Falcons to go ahead and jump up there, which is why I'm just not feeling that confident. And I know we're doing this video talking about how they can make the postseason, but as you'll see, I think the chances are going to be pretty tough. A couple of losses the past couple of weeks are definitely hurting their overall ability to make the postseason. We'll start with this question. Pin comment down below during the ad break. Scroll down. Will the Falcons make the playoffs? What do you think? What does your gut tell you right now as a Falcon fan? Type Y down below for yes. I think they will not. Go ahead and type N down below for no. All right, so let's start with this actual idea of a playoff push right now. And so I think that overall, Atlanta has to win 4 of their next 5 games. I mean, minimum, they got to win 4 of their next 5 games. Could they win 3 of 5 and still make the postseason? Technically, but that would take into the account that a lot of other teams would have to go ahead and lose a lot more games, like win 1 of their next 5 games. So Atlanta, realistically, if they want to control their own fate, win 4 of their next 5 games, and then your chances of making the postseason are very, very strong. Obviously, they have to beat the Panthers this week. I mean, that is an absolute must-win. You can't go ahead and get your 8th loss of the season with still 4 games to go and expect to go ahead and make the postseason. As we currently know, the Falcons not that talented. The odds of, losing today and then winning the next 4 seem a little bit slim. Speaking of, let's take a look right now at the Falcons' next 5 games. Carolina comes up on Sunday. I think that's a very winnable football game, as we'll see in just a couple of minutes. The 49ers, 2 weeks from now, it's going to be tough. That's going to be a very important game. Like, if they beat the Panthers and then you go into the 49er game, that sets up a truly must-win football game because, as we'll see, the Niners need to lose going forward, and a head-to-head matchup with the Falcons is very big for Atlanta. Then you have a nice, easy, hopefully, game against the Detroit Lions. Probably their first home win is how I see that. They haven't won a home game in over a calendar year at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Buffalo on the second day of 2022. That's going to be tough. And you finish up at home with the Saints there on the 9th of January. So it's a mixed bag right now. It's an interesting schedule, an interesting record, and I will give you my prediction for these final 5 games in a second, but I first want your prediction down below. Predict the Falcons' final record. Sitting right now at 5-7, 5 games to go. I mean, how many wins, how many losses? Give me that down below right now in the comment section. Very curious to see how Falcon fans view this overall. I see it as a tough road ahead, and I think that Atlanta, had they won a couple of games that they should have earlier on in the year. You circle that Washington game, you circle the Panther game, a couple of weeks ago. Atlanta's chances of making the postseason would be very high right now. And even though they play Buffalo and they play the 49ers, they play the Saints remaining, I think we'd feel very confident that they could go, 3-2 over the final 5 weeks, 2-3 and still make it. But because they lost those games, it makes it a whole lot harder. So it's a tough road. Let's just say that. It is not an easy schedule going forward. Even the Lions themselves are one of the better terrible teams in football. They at least play hard, as you saw on Sunday whenever they beat the Minnesota Vikings. All right, here are my projections right now. The final 5 weeks, I think they do beat Carolina. I think Carolina's a team in turmoil right now. Firing Joe Brady, Cam Newton's been very bad since bringing him back. I think they beat the Panthers. I don't think they beat the 49ers. I think that they can. I think that I hope that they do, but I think the San Francisco 49ers have played much better defensive football over the past couple of weeks. They had a tough loss against the Seahawks on Sunday. I think they're going to rebound this week and then probably rebound next week as well on the 19th against the Falcons. I do think the Falcons beat the Lions. I think that they have to. I mean, there's no way you can lose to the Lions after losing to the 49ers. I don't know how you go on the road in what will be absolutely frigid, frozen Buffalo. You saw in Monday Night Football this past week where it was just nasty weather. Probably not that bad as the Patriots went up there, but still, I see that as a loss, and I see them actually beating the Saints the final week of the year, but that again could be technically a loss. We'll see if it's Taysom Hill or Trevor Siemian starting at quarterback for the Falcons. That projection would have the Falcons finish 8-9 and probably not make the postseason, as we'll talk about here in just a couple of minutes. So again, for the next 5, getting there to 9-8 gives them a real chance, but 3 of their final 5 probably puts them sitting at 8-9, and it's probably not enough with the way the tiebreakers work out to make the postseason. All right, before we go and get into the teams that need to lose to help out the Atlanta Falcons, quick shout out to our friends at BetUS. Go to chatsports.com/BetFalcons. Use that promo code Falcons125. Get a 125% deposit bonus whenever you first sign up. Turns your $100 deposit into $225 for your betting pleasure. You can bet on whatever you want in terms of NFL games, in terms of the Atlanta Hawks right now. Whatever you want to do with our friends at BetUS. Chatsports.com/BetFalcons. That promo code is Falcons125. All right, first team that needs to lose a lot, Washington, because Washington is currently the 6th seed. They have an interesting schedule coming up the next 5 weeks. They have Dallas twice and Philadelphia twice. So they're at home against the Cowboys this week. Then they're at Philadelphia. Eagles will be coming off of their bye week. Then they are at the Cowboys. Then they have the Eagles again, and then the Giants. So a tough divisional setup here in the NFC East for basically all the NFC East teams. They all kind of play each other, but especially for Washington, to me, they're going to lose 3 of their next 5. And I know they're hot right now. They've won 2 or 3 in a row, but 2 against Philadelphia, 2 against Dallas. Dallas is trying to go ahead and lock up a higher seed in the NFC playoff picture. Tough schedule for Washington. I think that's going to help out the Falcons and potentially give them a chance here late. Philadelphia is a little bit more tricky. Now, Philadelphia gets a bye week this week, and that'll help them out in order to go ahead and get healthy. Then they come off their bye against Washington. Now, if the Eagles win that one, their chances are skyrocketing in the playoffs. They get the Giants as well. The Giants not a good football team. I think the day after Christmas, Philadelphia can win that one at home. And then at Washington, that's going to be the real circle one for Philadelphia. You see what happens there, going on the road, potentially locking up a playoff spot if they win that one. And then the Dallas game, they are lucky. They get the final week of the year. You remember we just showed you Washington has to play Dallas the next couple of weeks when Dallas is still playing for something. At this point, the Cowboys probably have the NFC East locked up and probably are no longer starting Dak Prescott, and so Philadelphia gets them at home and has a chance to potentially go ahead and win, I think, their next 4, if not 3 of their next 4. And so you got to root against Washington. I'll say root against the Eagles as well. Drop a like down below, though, if you're feeling confident about the Falcons' playoff chances. If you think Atlanta can win the postseason, give this video a thumbs up right now. I know some of you still believe that, even though I'm a little bleak right now, but talk about that down below right now in the comments section. San Francisco's a real problem, but if you look at the San Francisco schedule, it's tough, right? So they have the Bengals on the road, and the Bengals just got beat up pretty badly by the Chargers this past week, but still the 49ers go on the road to play the Bengals. Then you have the Falcons matchup on the 19th. That is going to be crucial. As I mentioned earlier, you have to win that if you're Atlanta, because the head-to-head works out. The Falcons and the 49ers have the same record at the end of the season. Whoever has the head-to-head tiebreaker as they played each other will be ahead of them, therefore potentially in the postseason. And so, like, the Falcons didn't win the Eagle game, they didn't win one of the Panther games, and they need to win, I should say, the 49er game in order to go ahead and have that head-to-head tiebreaker. That's going to be critical for Atlanta going forward. Then the 49ers have the Titans. That's not hard. I mean, that is hard on the road. Texans is easy, and then the Rams. So really, the 49ers have 3 of their final 5 against good football teams, and then you got the Falcon matchup, and then the one easy game against the Texans. So tough matchup for the 49ers. Finally, the Vikings, who are in win-or-die mode right now as they take on the Steelers on Thursday night. I mean, losing to the Lions on Sunday after losing the Niners 2 weeks ago, they've got to beat the Steelers on Sunday. Bears should be a little bit easier. Then they have the Rams, Packers, and Bears again. I mean, that is a tough schedule. So at least the good news for the Falcons is that they're the teams that need to lose have some tough schedules overall. Who do you see as the biggest threat to the Falcons' playoff chances as we wrap this video up? Like, is it the 49ers? Is it the Vikings? Is it Philadelphia? Is it Washington? I think it's personally the Eagles. I think the Eagles have the easiest schedule going forward, but which of these teams I think is the biggest threat to the Falcons' playoff chances? Let me know down below. All right, we just looked at all of it. My prediction, as you were kind of hinting, or you probably see by me hinting the past couple of seconds, or past couple of minutes, I should say, that the Falcons missed the playoffs. I think they're going to finish 8-9. I think they maybe even 7-10. Obviously, that won't do it. They've got to get to 9 wins somehow, and that means winning 4 of the next 5. And with the Bills on the schedule and with the 49ers on the schedule, you start by beating the Panthers and go forward, but the team has just not showed me enough to say they can win 4 of their final 5. I hope they do. I hope I'm wrong, but the odds of the Falcons making the playoffs to me seem to be a little bit less than I would hope at this point in the season. All right, ultimate time we have for today on our Atlanta Falcons playoff push video as they try to go ahead and march towards the playoffs. Yeah, go ahead and subscribe down below for plenty more coverage, regardless of what happens this week and going forward. We'll have plenty of great draft coverage coming up next couple of months here on the channel as well. For Atlanta Falcons Today, I'm Thomas Mott, signing off. To the rest of your day.